All right. Hello, gentlemen. So,
Just gentlemen.
yes, just gentlemen. Ladies are not allowed. This is a man-only podcast unless you're a woman. In which case, you are allowed, but it's still men-only.
Where's
Except
the
for
camera?
women.
What part do I look at?
The camera.
It's
Where's
men.
It's the bottom left.
Okay.
It's men only because we don't think that any woman would ever enjoy the kind
But
of
if you
stuff.
are a woman and you do enjoy this, you're free to watch.
Yeah, feel
Yeah.
free.
Not that women exist.
Feel
but
free to make us more money,
Okay.
as always.
Yes. Okay. So, on this podcast today, I'd like to bring up an extremely important subject in the state of America. So, a couple of days ago, we actually saw a video on the news of Joe Biden, current president of the United States of America, saying the word "the." So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think this implies, specifically for the socioeconomic state of America?
I think that it's a game changer. You know, people feel. You know how when people see quotes written by famous people, they feel inspired. I feel like that's kind of what Biden was going for. But he wanted to make it simple. He didn't want anyone to overthink it. He just wanted to say "the." But I do think it could have a deeper meaning, but I'd like to hear your opinions first.
Well, personally, it for me, the first time I ever heard it, it did have a much deeper feeling. You know, going back and going over my my personal thoughts again really changed it a lot. But I originally thought that the word "the" was a reference to JoJo because of many reasons. First of all, the T. That letter is commonly used in many shows and entertainment, but especially in JoJo. H and E. JoJo is a very masculine production, and he, really,
Also, I have something else to share. If it's like JoJo, but also if the is a reference to JoJo, who also said it? Joe Biden. And Joe also has an E in it, and the also has an E, and the is a JoJo reference.
That's very fair.
And Joe is
Yes.
a JoJo reference to.
So we can all
Joe.
agree that factually it's a JoJo reference.
Yeah,
But what are your personal thoughts on it?
See, this is the thing that nobody understands. It's the corn, the genetically modified corn, is being used to control our minds. The kernels have microchips that are implanted into our stomachs. So few people see this. They're controlling us with the corn. The corn is being used. It's being used against us. Soon enough, everyone's going to be mind controlled by the government. They're going to make us do whatever they want. It's going to be horrible. We need to stop Joe Biden while we can. The corn is planting microchips in our brains. And you all need to be people who recognize this. So many Americans are ignorant to these facts. We need to establish these.
So,
I
well, once
also-
again, that was his personal opinion, so you don't need to be too worried. But if you agree with him, go and tell all of your friends.
Yeah,
we are a
it makes
very
them very
unbiased
worried.
podcast, except men only.
Except for the part where
Except
we
for
buy
women.
stuff. We buy stuff.
Yeah,
a lot,
yeah,
but we're
you
not
know.
biased. We just
Yeah,
we
we're
buy
just
stuff.
we're just bi.
Also,
Yes.
I dug out a stalk of corn with this trowel, this
Really?
shovel yesterday.
Yeah,
So
and
he
he really
also
regretted
did
it. Honestly, he
I'm-
had. Yeah.
I went to bed thinking last night, what if they know what I'm thinking? What
Yeah,
if
you
they
know.
are understanding?
What if they know
Every-
that I'm thinking? What if they know that I'm thinking? What if they know that I'm?
Well,
And so on.
here's the thing. Soon, all of the big corporations, they're using these chips to control us, to get us to buy
Ooh,
more of their
chips?
products.
Oh,
These
I like
microchips.
Chips.
Like
The
Tostitos.
chips. Maybe they're putting
Pepsi and
microchips. in chips.
Coca-Cola, they have corn syrup. Don't you understand? Popcorn, it has corn syrup. It all has corn. They're controlling us with the corn. Don't eat it. It has corn. You're going to be mind controlled by the government.
I agree.
Goes to get snacks.
So, as I was saying, and on the subject of shovels, actually, you all have heard about Alabama Johnson's recent claims relating to Sonic.EXE, right?
Right.
Where he claimed that he stabbed Sonic.EXE with a shovel, and he presented the shovel with the blood on it to claim it. However, the DNA test revealed that the blood had DNA identical to that of Amelia Earhart. So, what do you think about this?
I think that what happened was all those years ago, she was flying her plane, and then he was in like the trunk, and then he pops up.
Sonic.EXE or Alabama Johnson?
Alabama Johnson.
Okay.
I think he pops out of the trunk, like stabs her with the shovel. Then she crashes the plane, but he had a parachute. He survives, and then he makes his. He had like this whole thing set up. He had people in on it. There was a boat right where he was gonna drop from and then skydive. Then they went back, and then like 70 years later, he had one of those microchips because he's the one making them, and they made him invincible. They made him immune to old age. So then, to get people off the case of Amelia Earhart, he started pretending like he was involved with a case with Sonic.EXE.
I agree. However, I think that there are two possibilities. One is the one that Mason has just presented. The second is that Amelia Earhart only disappeared because she was becoming Sonic.EXE, She had a change of Earhart. Didn't want to be a pilot anymore and decided that she wanted to go around, terrorize the citizens at 3 a.m. And this really makes us wonder, what do you think she saw in that flight that made her, have that change of Earhart?
I think what happened was, we still have. I think that what happened was she was like, I need to get out of here because she was transforming into Sonic.EXE's true form. So she wanted to fly away on her plane, but she didn't know that there was someone in her trunk. And then he pops out, stabs her somewhere, her neck, I think the forensics said. Yeah, her neck. Because in the transformation, she had two for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then the plane crashes somewhere in like the Galapagos or something.
Yeah.
And then she finds her way back to land as Sonic, but she was like, how do I get back? But then she transforms into Sonic, and then Sonic.EXE, and then she runs across the water. She makes it back. She starts terrorizing people. She got a little tired because it was her first time running across the entire ocean. So she spent like 50 years, 50 to 70, I think 70 years. She spent about 70 years waiting, and then now she's ready, because we all know that Sonic.EXE cannot die from old age. And
So
then
this is true.
Alabama Johnson, he still had the evidence of the blood on the shovel and stuff, but he just couldn't present it because he thought that people would think that he murdered Amelia Earhart.
Yeah,
which then would be like a whole thing where he would probably get,
You know what I think?
all that stuff.
Think about Amelia Earhart's name. Earhart has air in it. Air is so similar to the word ear. Ears of corn. They're in on the conspiracy.
Oh no.
They've been controlling us from the very start. Sonic.EXE isn't
I need to
real.
eat your head. That's so insane.
Planes are not real. They have been controlling us the whole time. People need to start realizing that we are under control by the corrupt government officials. There is no pure government left in the world. They are controlling us through the corn, through the kernels, through the popcorn, all of it. They're using it against us. Soon enough, we'll be a society of mind-controlled robots.
And another thing is, think about the airline company Southwest. That's where they're planting all the corn, in the Southwest of the United States. Every time they fly over there, they drop like a whole dump of like kernels down, and they all have like the microchips. They all grow up, and then they start selling the corn from from the Southwest area, and then that just leads to the entire like flow of.
And another
them
question, guys. Why 3 a.m. specifically?
Why does Sonic.EXE choose that? So, I'd like to implement my opinion here. So, this is not factual, but I would like to propose that, based off of the fact that we do know, I believe that, no, I do not want to propose yet. We'll do that off camera. So, I believe that Sonic.EXE chooses 3 a.m. because 3 o'clock a.m. is after 2 a.m. and comes before 4 a.m. And every night, so when you think about 2 a.m., alright, so think about midnight, okay? So that's 12 o'clock a.m., okay? Then we have 1 a.m., then we have 2 a.m., okay? But if you were to skip 3 a.m., you would go straight to 4 a.m., okay? Just hypothetically. Except the thing is, after 4 a.m. comes 5 a.m. So that goes 1, 2, 4, 5. And that's not how you count. So if you were to add in the 3, you would get 3 a.m. and so I believe that's why Sonic strikes then.
Oh, yes,
Also, another thing is, if you skip the 3, you get 2, and then a 4. What's 2 minus 4? 2.
yes. 3.
-2. 2 minus 4 is -2, which is close to 3.
It is. You know.
And then 2 is close to 3.
It's 5 away, right?
Yes.
You know, 1,
And then
2.
Sonic.EXE, he's realizing, like, the perfect time to strike.
She, actually, we've
Well,
done
that's
yes.
true. She's thinking, like,
Although we don't know
to be
if the
perfect time to
pronouns
strike.
changed at all when her physical form changed to Sonic.exe.
You know what I think? I think, what if it's not only the kernels they're using? What if the spores spread through the air?
So corn doesn't have
Corn,
spores.
corn.
That's what they want you to think. You're already controlled by them.
Oh no.
You are one with the hive
Oh, no,
mind. You
wait.
must break free. Break free
the
from the
government
hive mind.
Broke the.
Someone get me a.
My shoe just untied.
Someone get me a flamethrower.
You must break free. You must remove the
I
microchip
want
like I
to
did.
break free.
No,
There is an-
breaking through all
The
of this
government
is a
doesn't
lot
want you to
like
know.
going through a corn maze.
There's an ancient Mayan ritual that allows you to remove brain microchips. You need a drill, and I've had it performed twice, so I am totally free of it. I am totally
Okay.
That's what the
fine.
government wants you to think.
So
Also, it's a cornspiracy. This is okay. You keep going.
He told me to stop with air part.
You had to change your arrow.
So, I'd like to circle back to our previous topic on Alabama Jonderson's report. So, regardless of Corn's controlling or lack thereof, so why do you think that Alabama Jonderson decided to claim that he had stabbed Sonic.exe now?
I think he was scared.
Why do you think he waited? Well, I know that why he waited.
Maybe now.
But why do you think? What about right now made Alabama Jonderson
Oh, yes,
time
yes.
to strike?
So, the thing is, that night would have been the 69th
Like,
time that Sonic.exe had struck. And, so I think that he waited for that specific moment because it's a 69 is a very valuable number in our society, and he knew that we would all take it much more easily if it occurred at that time.
That's very fair. However, there have been more than 68 proposed occurrences, except according to the official Sonic.exe association, there were only 68 confirmed ones beforehand, and his is currently pending whether or not it is to be confirmed. It has not yet been decided. So this could very much change, especially from Sonic.exe's perspective, based off of which one of those were real and which one were fake, if any were real at all. So
That's very true.
what do you think about this?
Well, I think.
I also
don't-
think.
I don't think much, but this time I think. All right.
I'm gonna get some milk.
So
Because
well,
milk is not being controlled by the government. Milk is a safe liquid.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah, it's made
cows
of
eat corn.
Also, I'm now realizing this. I had corn last night, but I think I disinfected it.
Okay. With
Because-
Windex?
No, because it was on my plate and it started rolling and I couldn't stop it and it rolled and it hit the ground. So I only ate half of it, which means I'm only halfway controlled. So
Very fair.
That's
So
important.
this is somewhat unrelated, but I'd like to move on to our next topic. So as you may know, Quandale Dingle recently broke out of prison for the second time, and when I myself had the privilege of going to McDonald's and receiving his autograph. I don't have the paper with me right now, although it was a real honor to see him there. And while I talked to Quandale Dingle, he told me that in prison the chairs were way too small. And so, given that he did this on exactly the same date, May 2nd of 2022, that Alabama Jonderson supposedly stabbed Sonic.exe, why do you think that was?
I think, back to the small chairs thing. I think that they're too small because prisons have, like, the U.S. government is adopting this stereotype that you need to be fit to commit a crime. Obviously, this has been proved wrong in many cases. We don't know if Sonic.exe is...
especially because
you
you
know.
committed crimes.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. I've committed many felonies, and I am not what one would call small enough to fit in one of those chairs. And again, like, there's no sense in not making them bigger because, yes, it does cost money, but, like, if they're small, then there's some people that can't fit in them. But if they're bigger, it might be too big for some people, but that means that everyone can sit in them.
That's very fair. So, I think that the reason chairs are too small is because I believe that it doesn't actually involve the government in any way. I think that because, as we all know, it was Joseph.EXE who invented the chair, and eventually he eventually went on to start the company IKEA. So when he invented the chair, his first words after sitting on it were, "Wow, my butt no longer hurts." And so here's the thing. I think, unfortunately, since his death, the IKEA corporation definitely has taken a turn for the worse. And so I think that rather than following in Joseph.EXE's footsteps like they should have, and as many people think they should have, they went for a much more monetary viewpoint. So I think that the reason that chairs are smaller is simply because they believe that it would save money because they have to use less resources and people will still buy them. Furthermore, they thought that they could make even more money is because if they make them small enough, people will buy 2 chairs, 1 for each butt cheek.
Also, that makes sense, and also, prison chairs are also like even smaller than like
It's true.
normal chairs.
Which is what Quandale Dingle reported.
Exactly, which also leads into another thing with prison is meant to make you feel like you're in pain. Like you it's meant to make you like remember that you did something wrong. So like they have to always kind of remind you of that. And if they give you a chair in your cell, you're constantly reminded that you did something wrong, which could actually be a pretty good strategy to getting people to do good things because they don't want to deal with having small chairs. And then once all prisons are free of prisoners, they'll all shut down, and then like they'll refund and turn into like I don't know, like a fun park, and then all chairs will begin becoming normal size for people again. So then everything will be balanced out.
Yeah, and there's the argument. Prisoners have rights too. They have the right to remain silent for one. They have the responsibility to remain silent, but they also have the right to they're required to feed the prisoners. They have to give them a certain amount of food. It can't be that bad of conditions because prisoners have rights too. But do prisoners have the rights to larger chairs, or are companies just taking advantage of the fact that they can just make smaller chairs and no one will act up about it?
That could be
That's a very good question. So I personally believe, from what Quandale Dingle told me, what I personally believe is that the smaller chairs are on purpose in prisons because, as you said, it definitely creates an air of punishment so that they know that they deserve to have their butts hurt. Quandale Dingle, whether he was rightly convicted is an ongoing debate. I will take no stance there, as I know it's a very controversial subject. But regardless, when I was talking to him, he told me that a prison guard walks up to him and said, "Go sit on that tiny chair. You deserve it." So because of that, I think that it's on purpose. Regardless, I don't think IKEA is involved here. I think it's mostly just the government and the police department's decision to have the chairs be smaller so that the inmates feel a lot worse about themselves and about each other.
You know what I think about the small chairs? I think that both the small chairs and Sonic.EXE are diversions that the government created to distract us from the ongoing apocalypse
we don't care about the corn.
of corn's control. How dare you not care about the corn when they're controlling our society through their underground space controls? They're controlling us.
Explicit
They are controlling us
18
all.
plus,
They
18
are
plus.
controlling us.
Oh,
Their
women
minds
cannot watch
controlling
that
us.
one.
Soon enough, we'll be mindless slaves doing their busy work for them. We'll have no control over ourselves. Don't you think it's time to riot against them?
No.
Find their underground bases.
I don't think
Destroy the
I
controls.
don't think it's right to riot right now
Personally,
because
James,
we're doing a podcast.
Personally, I was raised by parents.
Corn.
They were corn. And they did not seem to be
Children of the
trying to control people or working for the government. Again, I might have been
That's
a child
what they
and not
want
noticed.
you to think. You've already been implanted.
Plant?
Implanted.
Like corn?
Okay, wait.
Corn
Let's.
gets implanted.
We already covered
I like
the corn subject. Let's go back to the chairs. Okay. I think that also another thing is maybe chairs in other parts of the world are actually normal size because America, people are just big.
Here's the
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Which could also be
We're
another
not getting
thing.
very much news from other places.
Maybe
you
the
know?
chairs are just
We've
like
only
normal.
heard reportings of Sonic.EXE in America, but we all know that he's fast enough,
to
or
run
she,
across water.
he or she is fast enough to run across water and make it to other places. Do you think that perhaps this is the only nation that is controlled by corn, and therefore we have a very constricted news, and we don't know that the other countries are not controlled by corn. You know, they have Sonic.EXE at 3 a.m. every night. You know, all these things.
Also, maybe in like Argentina, chairs are normal size for them
It's true,
because
yeah.
they're just like lighter and like skinny. Like that could be a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Personally, I believe that other countries
I don't want to rant
are
about
not under control. It's only the U.S. government. It's Joe Biden and his jolly band of government associates.
Well, how long do you think that this has been going on? Okay, well, think about this though. If you think it's just Joe Biden, then you're wrong because think of how
No,
long.
I didn't say just Joe Biden. I said
Think
Joe Biden,
Joe Biden
and
is
his
the
jolly
president of
band
at
of
least-
government associates.
But think about this though. Joe Biden has only been in office since January, which is
But
only 5
January
months.
of 2 years ago.
He's
Well-
been plotting it the whole
Oh.
time. He's been plotting it. Don't you see? Ever since he started trying to become president, which was long before whenever we knew, he was plotting to take over America, and it's working. And the other
Or
countries don't even
possibility.
know about it.
Possibility, we're
do you-
actually all being taken over by strawberry seeds. And this year, James has eaten so many strawberries that
Oh,
it has been implanted into his mind that
no,
it's the corn.
It's the corn. It's never the strawberries.
You see what I mean?
Strawberries are enjoyable to eat. Corn is not.
Exactly.
So,
That's what the
Returning
strawberry seeds
to-
want you to think.
so returning to our previous subject. So we have not heard of any. We have not heard any confirmed Sonic.EXE reports from any other countries. So, assuming Sonic.EXE is real, what do you think this is? Do you think that there is actually that Sonic.EXE actually appears in other countries?
It's a diversion. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It's the
I
corn.
understand. I
Who
understand.
let him in here?
This is not about corn. This is about Sonic.EXE.
Yeah, we're forgetting about the corn for now. You can talk about this. You can make
Sorry,
your own
folks.
podcast called Cornspiracy and like do
Yes.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to talk about Sonic.EXE right now.
Are you calling my beliefs? Are you calling the truth a conspiracy?
No.
It's controversial.
It's fine.
It's
you
not
know.
controversial when it's the truth.
No. Okay, calm down.
You
Hey,
can't
Alright, guys,
be
guys.
going against the
Okay.
truth.
I brought
Calm
something here today that I'd like you all to share your thoughts on.
These are
Censorship.
probably have corn in them.
So that's a bucket, and you can tell by the fact that it's round and has a hole in the top. Here, I'll demonstrate for the viewers. That's a bucket. See, you can tell. Okay. So, what do you think about this bucket? What do you think? How do you think it relates to life?
Personally, life is kind of like a bucket, you know.
You're always trapped.
You come out, and you come around, and when you die,
And then-
you hit a wall and just drop
No.
dead.
You come out the top, and then all these little like bumps here. You know how it goes like down and
Oh
then
yes,
bump?
those are like
Those
the trials
are
of
like
life.
those are like your biggest moments.
And then
in
once
life.
once you figure it out at this big high part, then you can coast your way.
Then
and
this
then-
is
and then
like
at this
this is
point, it's like
retirement.
Half
down
of the people have another big bump in
No,
their life, you know,
demonstrate on the other side.
amid
So
life
you
crisis.
have like you come
a
out the
midlife
top.
crisis here, but then some, but then some people just coast all the way. You know, it's very.
You have your
Definitely.
major life events, all these little bumps here. And then you have like your big life event that's kind of like the deciding moment of your life. And then the rest of this is like retirement and just like the rest of your life. And then you die.
Except for some unlucky souls who hit this bump.
Which is the midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then you hit the bottom, and that's dead.
So on the subject of midlife crises, so I don't know if you all heard this, but Timothy Dinglebart was reported to have had a midlife crisis during his 800th year of rule, of being Johnny McCudepants the Eighth's assistant or advisor in the United Salesmen of Superb Ramen, and recently we found the television was hacked into. on channel 12, and for exactly 3 minutes, and it was just 3 minutes of Luigi dancing to Death by Glamour. So
Also, 3 minutes.
hang on one moment. So for these 3 minutes, there was also Morse code playing very softly. The Morse code described the events of how Timothy Dinglemar had his midlife crisis. So why do you think this is?
I think it's the corn.
No, enough of you have the corn.
It's the
We're
corn.
gonna tape your
It's
mouth
the
shut.
government.
Just please take away your shovel.
It's
Sir,
the
sir,
government.
okay.
Oh, you'll never take me alive.
Sir, we're just gonna have to.
You'll
rescue
never
you.
take me
We're just gonna
alive.
have to ask
It's
you to
the
leave.
corn.
Alright.
I'm telling you.
We're just gonna
It's the
quietly,
corn.
quietly.
Okay,
Sorry,
let's
folks.
go.
Stand by while we.
Alright, stay.
Yeah, they'll figure that out.
Alright. Okay.
Alright.
We apologize for the inconvenience. All right. So, anyway, returning to our previous subject. Yes. So why do you think that Luigi dancing to Death by Glamour was about Timothy Dinglemar's midlife crisis?
It means like, it's like the song says, death by glamour. You die glamour. Like, it's the death of that kind of thing. And also, you said it was 3 minutes of it playing.
Yes.
I think this could also
3
be.
a.m.
Yeah, I was gonna say this could also be
Oh.
a message from
Sonic.EXE.
Sonic.EXE.
Okay.
3 a.m. This could be he or she's broadcast of
He's a broadcast.
he or she.
His or hers.
Oh yeah, those.
Pronouns.
We English here. 24/8. But yeah, this could be.
23.
Oh, that's a number.
Oh wait, no, that was in the last one.
Oh wait.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the first try.
The
We were
first
talking
test.
about how the best way to prevent Sonic.EXE possibly is to simply remove 3 a.m. And,
So that means there's
so-
only 23 hours in the day.
go straight from 2 to 4 because 1, 2, and then there's 3, which we would remove, and then 4, and then 5. And then if you keep going, then it'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And then after 9, then we hit double digits, right? 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, we would keep 3 p.m. because that's not a problem. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then once you pass 6, you get to the point where it is considered evening in many cases. 7,
Which
8,
is 7
9.
p.m., isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that
7,
makes sense.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Which at that point you would then skip 3 a.m. then.
Okay, that's a very good idea.
Another thing is, depending on how this goes, we're gonna put out a petition. There should be a link somewhere. We're gonna put out a petition to remove 3 a.m. from clocks and just everywhere. And if that doesn't stop Sonic.EXE, we might just remove the number 3, out of the
just
clocks
out of-
at all. Like, it'll go from
Or we could go so far as
4
to remove 3 from the numerical system.
It's
Yeah.
very fair.
and then there'll be no more traces of 3. If you're with 3 friends, we're with 3 of, well, we had to kick out our other.
The 3 among guy.
Yeah, if you're with 3 people, then this could be a problem. We could
Yeah,
be
you know.
attacked at any moment. We think that
Also,
We think
Excuse
that-
me, I had to talk about
we think that the number 3 could have a secret motivation
yeah.
for the killings that Sonic.EXE has done. It could be the number, assuming that the Amelia Earhart conspiracy is true, and that Amelia Earhart is Sonic.EXE. It could be that, she, 3 was the last number that she saw as Amelia Earhart before transforming into Sonic.EXE.
Or, do you guys think that if we were to remove 3 from everything, Sonic.EXE would then move to another number, such as 6 or 9? Or do you think
Or
that,
16.
or do you think that he or she would stick to, or just give up, stop, go back to being a pilot, and we'll find Amelia Earhart.
Or maybe,
Yet another change of heart. Earhart.
Amelia or Sonic.EXE will go to a different country. Maybe Sonic.EXE will go down to Mexico or go up
Yeah,
to
'cause,
Canada. Maybe
Mexico-
they'll go to Switzerland or something.
Mexico, the number 3 is very prominent. They would never remove that.
Yeah, the 3 amigos. That's a
Trace.
very
Yeah, sure.
Trace, it's a
Yeah.
very
Trace
very sexy number.
Trace and 3 are different things because they're in different languages. So maybe
Oh,
Sonic.EXE would become Sonic.EXE and
At
Espanol.
Trace and
at Trace. Yeah.
En Trace de la Mañana.
Yeah.
So,
Which that could pose a problem because
but not to us because we're Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
God
We're
bless.
over here with our corn.
I mean, we've already removed. Sometimes if you go to like a really big building and they'll skip the floor number 13 because it's a superstitious like bad thing. They have that in China as well. In China, the number 4 is believed to be like a really bad like sign
Yeah.
and stuff. So like a lot of times in like an elevator, it'll go like 1, 2, 3, 5 and skip 4.
Yeah.
And we already removed a number that has 3 in it, 13, which could lead to more
No,
stuff.
maybe it's
our
anger.
elevators will be 1, 2, 4.
It's angered Sonic.EXE because we are one of the only places that has removed that number. Thought it to be superstitious. So maybe that angered Sonic.EXE, and now he or she is targeting this place.
That's very fair. Well, gentlemen, I think that concludes our thoughts for today. I do think
It's the corn! We're being controlled with the corn! It's the corn! Everybody